Complex music. Nico.
Hello, and welcome everybody. Sorry, we are slightly late. Oh, we are really late. We just had a little bit of a problem with our sound system, so we're making sure everything is working fine. I'm Nicole Hasselman, your host, and I've got my guest here, Alice Jabi. As usual, I'll let her introduce herself in full. But anyway, for now, tell me your name, where you're joining me from. Tell me anything about you. Nisalimie. Say hello to me. Say hello to me so that when Alice starts, she knows she's got some supporters. She knows you're there. And yeah, go and say hello and where you're joining from. Hello. How are you, my lovely? Oh, you're well. Winter is coming. So, oh my God. You're seeing the last of summer right now. We've had the rains. It's been raining in Gloucester. So, it is what it is. So you've had Salamu Moja. Hi, where are you joining us from? And do tag your friends. They might be lucky today and be available. So we've got so much to learn. We want your input. You want us to, tell us your thoughts. Today we're talking about love and relationship. Well, love and relationship, it's one of those things that is just personal. Whatever you term as love, it might not be everybody's way of seeing what love is. So, my first question will be, what is love? What is love to you? That will be my first question. So, everybody just tell me what love is as Jabi takes over and then introduces herself, tell us a little bit about herself, where you can find her. She's been our frequent guest and she always has amazing things to share. If you missed the last one, oh dear me, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. You shouldn't miss her shows. You shouldn't miss her lives completely at all. So do say hello to us and where you're joining from. That's number one. Number two, tag your friends. Yeah. And number three, tell us what you think love is. Alice. Karibu. Welcome, my lovely. How are you?
I am super. I am very excited to be here, and thank you for inviting me again.
I know you're still the bubbly you, always laughing. That hasn't changed. Is that changed a little bit with the life? It seemed to be still bubbly.
Thank you.
Tell us about yourself, my lovely. Karibuni, Karia Maria Rosa, Karibu Malkia. Is that Big T? Or was it meant to be Malkia Beauty or something? Hello, you. Oh, I'm
BT.
from
I think it's BT.
Oh, Karibu. What's Malkia? Is it your business? Is it something you do?
Malkia is Swahili for queen. I'm a princess,
Yeah,
but she can tell us. She
angel
can
of
tell us.
queen.
Yeah.
Malkia is queen. Queen.
Yeah, it's a queen, Malkia. It's Swahili, but she can tell us. Maybe I could be wrong.
Tell us, Beatrice, what you do, Queen Beauty. Tell us what you do. Alice.
Yes.
Back to you.
Thank you so much. My name is Alice. I'm super excited to be here. I like going by the name the Conscious Life Coach, and I help people break away from feeling stuck to creating the lives and the relationships that they desire. And I'm excited to be here. And imagine I kind of like knew you'd ask that as the first question because it was actually on my mind as I was getting onto the show.
I know you better start from the beginning.
So, what's your definition?
What is love?
Yeah, what's your definition?
Sorry?
I'm asking the Viluna Lisa, maybe you can start us off. What's your
You want me to start
definition of
off?
love?
Oh, goodness
Yep.
me. Why did you have to do that to me?
We put you on the hot seat.
Okay, for me, first I would say we're kind of losing the meaning of love because nowadays we're influencing each other on what it means. And then the modern woman, she's independent, she's working, she's doing everything for herself. So when you ask the modern woman what love is, it will be very difficult for her to explain what love is. But at the end of the day, for me, I think love is just the one thing that connects us all of us. Is that deep feeling that you have for yourself, the self-acceptance and stuff. And when it's love to another person, I think it's just accepting them the way they are, just loving them wholly, not parts of them, being understanding, being reasonable, being supportive, being forgiving. If you're able to do all that with somebody, I reckon you love them. But I feel like if it has some attachment to it, like the way us modern people have sometimes, I feel like when it has like, oh, I can't be with you because of this, then I'm thinking then maybe it's not love anymore, because it's come with attachment. That's how I see it.
Actually, you're so right, yeah, because what most relationships have, we think it's love, yeah, but what we have is an attachment to each other. And like you're mentioning, it's those two are very different, yeah. And most of the time it's not even a healthy attachment but an unhealthy attachment, yeah. What we have in most relationships, we think it's love, but it's more of codependency in terms of we meet each other and bond on the basis of what do we call this, trauma bonding. We bond on the basis of our emotional wounds. Oh my god, this happened to you when you're growing up, or that. Oh my god, even me, sometimes this happens consciously, but most of the time it's very unconscious. Unapata, oh my goodness, I am always attracted to this type. I'm sure if we were to look back, yeah, probably maybe between this, I don't know, like the last couple of relationships or the kind of people you have attracted in the past, you'll see that, there are patterns. There are patterns that, hiya, these guys don't know each other, but the kind of person I'm attracted to is like this, it's like this, and it's like this, yeah. And what actually happens is if you take your time, you'll see, and I've seen this happening, and it used to happen to me. I'm like, it feels like I'm meeting the same person, but in a different suit, body wise, or in a different name, yeah.
Is it a bad thing or a good thing?
Now here's the thing. If you've done your work, if you've done your inner work and you're very clear on what you want, you will attract that, yeah. But if and now maybe I should add this here, yeah. What we have is a codependency, or what I like calling unconscious relationships. So there was no purpose and intention. We just met, like you said, we felt my feelings,
Class,
and
my
then
feelings.
yes, And then we're like, oh my God, we're in love. And then you start thinking, this person, I thought they were so nice. All of a sudden, they're just annoying me. They're like
Mm.
this, they're pissing me off. Then
Yeah.
what we don't realize is, I like looking at it this way, yeah? Like
Mm.
relationships are like a mirror. They and when we are in relationships, that's when we're in this space with this individual who can trigger us the most. So if you have not done your inner work and you're relating with someone, believe you me, you'll be triggered. But unfortunately, for most of us, we don't even realize it. And that's why
Mm.
we always talk about self-awareness, understanding where you're being triggered,
Mm.
understanding. By the way, Babe said, Alini Kosea, he did this. In fact, let me use the most common one. Probably he cheated a year ago. We forgot about it. We said, okay, we are dealing with it. But every time he comes home late, I'm always thinking, oh, la, la, where is he? Is he cheating? So
Mm.
we are repeating the same patterns over
Mm.
and over, yeah.
Mm.
And here's the thing about unconscious relationships: it's we keep on repeating the same patterns that are not that are destructive to the relationship. They're not building us. And being in an unconscious relationship does not mean that you're not happy. You can
Okay.
be in an unconscious relationship, but there's no what as in you're repeating the same patterns, yeah. That's why
Mm.
you see some people in relationships that they can't get out of, because they do have happy moments. So they're like, but he's not a bad guy.
Mm.
But then we'll see them buyer, because being in an unconscious relationship does not mean, as in, you'll always be fighting 100% of the time. And that's why there's always that back and forth. Should I leave them? Should I not? Should I leave them? But now you're not looking at, what is this issue and how can we sort it?
Yeah.
Should I
So,
continue?
yeah, I was going to ask you then. I do
Mm,
know we do that. A lot of us do that. I've been there, like going back to the same person every time, because you've not really, you feel like you're working on yourself, but you're not being cautious in your choices. You're not being aware of your actions, of the consequences of your actions. So you're thinking, okay, because I'm in love with that person, that matters. That's all.
mm,
But love is complicated, because you have the love you have for your children is different for the love you will have for your spouse or your mom and stuff. And when you
yeah.
have certain feelings for somebody, you feel like, okay, because I love them, then we have to be together, or we are meant to be together. But you don't understand that you're not aware of your blind spots when it comes to the love and his blind spot. So every time you're together, for me, that's actually what happened. Every time that you're together, it wasn't just working. We were good friends, we were best friends and stuff. But anytime
Mm,
we tried to be like us together and there's conflict, it just wasn't working. But I wasn't conscious in that relationship to notice those little things that,
mm,
my own faults, and why am
mm,
I acting that? Where do I keep on going back?
mm,
I didn't have that information for myself. Yeah.
mm.
So I was gonna ask you next is, we have had biblical definition of love. What do you say about that?
Wow, that's a good question. Before I answer that, I was gonna ask you,
Mm.
what you're saying was love. Was it love or was it attachment?
I'll tell you what, that's why I'm telling you, it's really confusing and complicated. Louise, I'll come back to
Mm,
you, my lovely, and Bill her. It's really confusing and complicated because if you keep on going back to the same person, like you break up, you try meeting other people, it's not working, you're like, you don't have the same, what is it called? That feeling, you're not getting that from anybody else. But every time you are with them, you're getting, oh, you feel it in a lot of ways. So you decide that that is love, and you decide that the
okay.
fact that you can forgive them every time, that it means it's love, and the fact that every time you try to do other things and try other ways and other patterns, you feel like the universe keeps on bringing you back to the same person. So you tell
I have
yourself,
a
maybe this is
question.
destiny, and maybe this
I
is
have a
love.
question.
Mm.
I'm so curious because I'm wondering, if you keep breaking up, it means there's something off. So what is this thing? Yes, what is this thing that is off, but it keeps you keeps taking you back? What is
Okay,
this
let's
that
turn
keeps
this into a
taking you back?
therapy session. Let's turn it into therapy for this particular thing. Let's just go open and raw and everything.
Let's go
So
with
let's
it.
give this person a name. Choose a name.
Mary.
Huh?
Mary.
Eric.
No, okay, we can say Mary and
Let's
Eric.
use Eric. Okay, because that's what I had. So let's say Nicole likes Eric.
Okay.
Eric seemed perfect to Nicole at that time because where Nicole is, her love life, what she thinks love is, where she sees her life being, she looks at this other person and thinking, this is the dream person I've been after.
All right.
Eric seemed perfect. He fits the bill. But every time Nicole is with Eric, then in her stubbornness, in her life of not being cautious, and with that connection being the same thing in his case, you keep on going back to each other. So anytime you break up, you've not really sorted what the problem is, and you're stubborn enough not to want to work it out. You're stubborn enough not to see that you are at fault, and then you go back to the same pattern, same situation, same person.
Okay. So what does Nicole tell herself when she goes back?
So I was just trying to explain. I think I was just trying to say, with the way you're saying, asking whether mine was love. So I keep on going back.
We have said we're going with it. Let's
Yeah,
continue.
good. For me, I just can't figure it out. For me, I just thought it's some form of love.
No. What I was asking is, when you go back, what do you tell yourself? We are gonna make
Oh
it
no,
this
when I go,
time.
oh, absolutely. At that time, you tell yourself, "Oh, okay, I know I'm a part of this. I'm at fault. I know who I am. I know what kind of a person I get." You convince yourself. You find ways of convincing yourself to go back, and then when they come back, also they come convincing you with all those sweet talks where, okay, a lot of change over the years. And they come with all those sweet words, and you're like, "Yeah, I've not met anybody like you. You must be the one. The universe keeps on bringing you back." Right now,
And
I can't. That is in the past. Right now, I'm totally
oh,
self-aware.
mm,
I know where I
mm,
am. I know what I want and where I'm headed. But
mm,
then that was the
mm,
situation. I was in denial that I'm part of the relationship. I was in denial
mm,
that I'm at fault, even though I did
mm,
agree at some point. But
mm,
I wasn't totally self-aware and totally
mm,
not that I'm part of that relationship. I'm part of the
mm,
relationship working, and I'm part of the relationship breaking up, and I'm the common denominator in that
mm,
relationship.
mm, mm. I like what you've said, because it's and the reason why I wanted us to dig deeper, because it's not something, it has happened to me as well. It's not something that is what is it called? It's happening to you as in ukiwa peke yako. It's something that is very common with people. You break up because you're not aligned. Then you maybe take time apart. Then you miss each other. But really, what you have is an addiction to either drama,
Very
it's an
good.
addiction to some sort of a pattern, it is self-sabotage.
I was
Because
addicted
at the,
to the high that it brought
yes,
to my life.
yes. And in fact, that's why some people fight so much. Yeah, they fight so much because they end up it's like the highs and the low. They end up maybe having great makeup. I don't know whether Zuckerberg atakubali, so tuseme coitus. They end up having great intercourse. So it's like they were on a low, all of a sudden, sure, it's like you've taken, some drugs.
Absolutely.
Uko juu, then by the way, you're not even aligned. You're not supposed to be together. So kidogo kidogo sha, you're back down, yeah? Then you stick without each other. You're both looking for a high. You get back together. So you get it's the height of unhealthy attachment, so to speak. Which now
Yeah.
takes me to what I wanted to just mention, yeah, about most of us are in what we call unconscious relationships, like I was saying, yeah. And the thing about unconscious relationships is we don't even get into relationships with clear intentions or purpose. So what do we find? There is what? There is no purpose, there is no intention, there is no sense of clarity. And purpose, intention, and all that comes from me first. Self-awareness. What do I want? You know, how do I want to be loved and be loved? What are my deal breakers? What are my boundaries? I can tell you for myself, when I was getting married, I didn't know all those things. So we get into relationships expecting the other person will know how to fix us. Yeah. So when I'm mad, I can't even express myself. I'll just do what? Nitamnyamazia tu, nil by mouth. And of course, I'm expecting, yeah, he will know what to do. We don't
Yeah,
even know how to, we don't even know what kind of emotional needs we have. Like when you're having a hard
absolutely.
time, you know, what's the best way to be supported? How can I love you when you're feeling down? Some of us like attention,
Yeah.
but we don't know how to say. Like I have learned personally how to say, you know what, I'm really having a hard time today, can I have a hug? You know, no sinembia mambo nyingi, I just want a hug. And don't ask me, because even at that point I'm still trying to process whatever is going on. So just give me a hug, because touch is one of my biggest love languages. Maybe we can talk about love languages later. So I have come to learn, when I am, you know, when I'm in a space where I'm emotionally down, for me love means just, you know, that sense of touch. Just give me a hug and just stick around somewhere. I don't even want you as in my space right now, but ukwe too, you know, somewhere. And for me, that's the best way to support me at that point. But I didn't know. I know there's a point I was in a relationship with someone, and I could tell they wanted their love language was acts of service. So when they were really emotionally down, they wanted you to make them a cup of tea. I don't know what tengeneze kitty. They ask
Yeah,
for
yeah,
small things, yeah.
yeah,
Remote inaweza kakua hapo, but they're saying, give me the remote, yeah. And then
yeah.
you're wondering, what the heck, you're being so fussy today.
You
But
get
they
angry,
don't
but
know.
you don't know that's
Yeah,
their way of getting your attention. I really like what
exactly.
you're bringing. That is exactly what was happening at that time for
Mm,
Nicole and Eric. Because with
mm,
Nicole, she, like we said, she didn't know what she wanted. She didn't know how to
mm,
express her emotions. She didn't even know what love was that much. So that was the closest to love that she had. You know, like at
mm,
the moment where she felt like she's opened up the most compared to
mm,
her previous encounters. She felt like this was the
mm,
closest, you know, like completely vulnerable. When you look
mm,
at the rest, it was always on guard and stuff, but this one, I could be vulnerable and it felt good.
mm,
So I got addicted to the
mm,
hype. I got addicted to the fact that we could do fun things. You know, one day your life is just like quiet, but now you were doing all those fun things. So you want more of those fun things. And then the language of love
mm,
was attention. And
mm.
I don't know how to baby. I like space. I like independence. I like just
Yeah,
disappear.
yeah.
Just go. We don't have to do
Mm,
everything together. So they see
mm,
that as rejection. Because
mm,
we mentioned trauma again today, but loosely and stuff.
yeah.
That that manner of them, for them to feel loved, you had to like give them attention from the trauma they had had, their
Mm,
previous traumas. And my previous
mm,
traumas meant that I want independence. I want to be strong. I don't want to depend on you. Anytime you
yeah.
want to move, like go. So anytime you
Mm,
start thinking that I depend on you, no, sorry, the door is open.
mm,
Go. You know what I mean?
mm,
So
yeah.
and then I reached the point where you're saying as well, well, now obviously I understand what emotional needs are. Obviously, I understand how I want to be loved. You know what love means to me and
Mm,
how I want to be loved, and that it's okay to wait. It's okay not to be in a rush. Love doesn't have to be something to do with somebody else. You know,
mm,
I feel
mm,
like okay, it doesn't have to be like, oh, you're with somebody else, so that is love. No, self-love is
mm,
good enough. Because if you love
mm,
yourself fully, then you don't have to burden somebody else to love you.
mm, mm,
Because
mm,
sometimes you come with all those damages, all those trauma, then you go and exhaust somebody's son, somebody's child with all those emotions because you expect them to feel them. They can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you love yourself, it's supposed to love you. You're someone who deserves to be loved.
You're
So
breaking. You are breaking a bit.
oh, sorry, I'm breaking.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. Let me read the comment. I don't know from what point I was breaking. So Louisa was saying, "Oh, let's apart from how I love my children and brother, I can't explain any other kind of love." Oh my goodness me. That is why we are having these talks, because we want to understand love. We think that it's just obvious because we've been told, oh, we can imagine what love is. But you see, even
Mm.
I couldn't just define it. I couldn't just define love. The Bible has told us what love means in a way, and Google says love is what? Mr. Google says what?
Love is a
Um,
feeling,
uh,
an
oh,
emotion, which I do not agree with.
yeah, love is a set of emotions and behaviors
Yeah.
characterized by intimacy, passion, and commitment. It involves care, closeness, protectiveness. Yeah, I can see why you don't agree with it, because
The
some.
reason why I don't agree with love is an emotion is because emotions are not static. See, they come and go, yeah? They're dynamic.
The
So
same,
even
yes.
in relationships, there are points where my love for my partner will deep, yeah? But so if I say love is a feeling, I'll wake up and say, today I don't feel like, Nam feel. So I don't love him. So he should disappear or something. He should
Mm-hmm.
just
Yeah,
uh, make himself, unavailable or whatever. The way
yeah,
I look at it for me, and this is my own explanation, yeah. And what I've come to find out, I don't think there are any two people who define love the same way. Like you said in the beginning, everyone has their
yeah.
own definition of love. We have the SI unit, the standard unit that we have been given by the Bible, which is unconditional love. Ile siku yani tutawahi kufika even 10% of that, my God, the world will change. If we can be able to just have that kind of an unconditional love for someone else, yeah. The way I look at it, for me, love is a choice. You wake up in the morning and you choose to love your partner. You might not like them because you're mad at them, but you choose to commit to them. Love is a commitment. Unfortunately, in most relationships, what we have is people who are not committed, but people who are interested, yeah. So if someone is interested in the other person, they will just do the bare minimum to keep the relationship alive. If
Yeah.
someone is commitment is a state of dedication. Number
Mm,
one, I'm taking personal responsibility for myself.
mm,
Then number two, I'm being present, being intentionally present in that relationship.
mm,
Then the third one, I'm intentionally investing my time, my energy, and resources
mm.
because I am committed to making this thing grow. But if
Yeah.
I'm interested, yeah, inaweza kaenda tu vile itaenda, it's okay. I'll
Yeah.
just do the bare minimum to keep it alive.
Now that you're saying that, I'm beginning to think that maybe I should say it. Love is also just a choice, like happiness and everything. Because,
Exactly.
yeah, because what Google is saying about the passion, and then it said intimacy and stuff. So if you based your love on that when it comes to spouses, then it means
Mhm.
that one day if you don't feel the passion, then you're ready to park. But we are agreeing that it's just like any other emotion; it will come and go. The days you'll be angry, or the days you'll be of low moods, the days you, but it doesn't mean that you stop loving that person that
Yeah,
day.
yeah,
It doesn't mean
yeah,
that. And the intimacy, things happen,
yeah.
and things could happen.
Mm,
You get into your middle age where now it's not the same as it felt before. And if
mm,
you're there for
mm,
the intimacy, then that's when you start packing again. So I
yeah.
think for me, I'll start defining it as a choice too. So you choose every day to love
Mm-hmm,
that person, just like you choose
mm-hmm,
every day to love yourself. You choose every day
mm-hmm,
to say that, you know what, I may make mistakes. I'm human.
mm,
I did that
mm,
yesterday. It was wrong of me. Or maybe I should have, or, whatever it is. But you tell yourself,
mm,
you know what, I still choose me. I still choose to
mm.
love myself,
Yeah,
regardless.
yeah, yeah. And I feel like it's important for us to just emphasize on this, yeah, because most people confuse, most of us confuse love with codependency. You know, love with attachment, as we were saying earlier. And let me just take a few minutes to explain what codependency is, yeah. And this is a situation where you have one person being either, the one person is, how do I put this, they're excessively relying on the other person, either emotionally or psychologically. And this is unfortunately, this is what happens to most of us, and then we think it's love, yeah. It's more of trauma bonding. I'm attached to you because of my emotional wounds, yeah. Perhaps your we are two people, let me put it this way, we are two people, so I never got attention by from when I was growing up, yeah. So there's a neediness in me, I need attention, I'm craving for that attention, yeah. Then I will easily match up with someone who will selflessly give of themselves, because they're so used to giving, the way they were brought up because of childhood trauma and all that. Let's say, for example, maybe they are the firstborn or secondborn, and they are the ones who used to take care of the other kids. Maybe the parents either were working, or maybe one was an alcoholic. You know, those circumstances that happen in our family, and you end up being the child who's taking care of all the kids, yeah. So what would happen is, if I had that kind of a childhood, I'd be easily drawn to someone who wants to be taken care of. Why?
Yeah.
Because we are such a good match. We are matching, it's trauma bonding. We are matching based on our traumas. Then what will we say? We'll say it's love. It is not love. It is neediness. You know, most of us have relationships not based on love, but it's based on manipulation and control, and neediness. And then what do we call that? We call that we call that love. We try to get love from manipulation, you know. And there are different ways where we do that, yeah, starting from the most aggressive to the least, yeah. There are 4 ways where we try to get control in relationships, and there's a lot of, you know, power dynamics going on, yeah. And in such instances, we'll have, number one, what we call the intimidator. So this is the person who will either intimidate physically, ukichelewa home utaona, you know, and then anakuongelesha, those ones you start shaking. And I used to say, my God, I fear my husband back then. Yani, you should, my friends were laughing at me the other day, and they were telling me, women do inja sahi, and you know, you used to have a curfew of 6 p.m. If you're not home by 6 p.m., I start telling people, please call him, please, cause niko tu hivi. And when I look back, I don't blame him. When I look back, I'm the one who was not standing up.
And at that time, you probably thought that's good. You probably thought, oh, I'm loved up. That's why I need to be home at this time. So that Miss Yaribiko Koinje.
Then at some point, that's what you think at first. Then at some point, you start getting, okay, this person, this is more about control than it is about love. It's not about love. It's no longer, you know, when you're in that space, wait a minute, this is not love, because the accusation, don't ask me, I'm a man, I'm not supposed to be asked what time. But for you, in fact, I used to joke. I used to say, kuku zikiingia pia mimi naingia kwa nyumba. You know, and later that's when I was sitting and thinking about it, and like, wait a minute. I feel like I can't breathe, yeah? I feel like this person is just, and when I look back and I'll just share how I was matching his energy. Yeah. And I will share how I was matching his energy, so that you can see how the two of us were so aligned. We called it love. It was not love. It was codependency. But ukituliza, we were very much in love, yeah? So those are the first ones. Either they're very verbally, they'll be emotionally intimidating, or they'll be physically, worst case, yeah? Worst case is you come home and you're slapped, or you're, I don't know, you're beaten. And we have such people. Maybe they don't get their way, they beat, as in that's the worst case scenario, yeah, when there's physical intimidation, when someone is trying to get control. Then the other people are interrogators. Uko wapi? Na nani? Sangapi? Kwa nini? Why is that person looking at you? They keep on asking questions. That's seeking control. Then we have what we call the people who are aloof. They will withdraw and look mysterious. And then you'll have me, people like how I was before, yeah, which is I call it the poor me, the woishe, aki woishe, see what my hubby does, aki woishe, victim mentality. Now here's the thing, yeah, an intimidator will attract a poor me person. So why? Because he's intimidating, he's being aggressive, he will attract a victim. Is the way it's similar to the way a bully matches with the one who's being bullied. It's an energetic connection. Then the interrogator will always attract the aloof person. So this person, the chick is always asking, nani ulikuwa naye? Nani umetext? And the dude will never be, maybe he'll answer the first few times. Then after that, atakuwa akiulizwa ulikuwa ananyamaza, hata ongei, amenyamaza tu. So what was going on, because they're so used to being asked those questions and they're feeling like it's getting to their, they'll just keep quiet. You do what you want, yeah? So unfortunately for most of us, what we think is love, or what we think is intimacy, or when we want intimacy, we don't know how to emotionally connect with the other person. We look for that, using control or manipulation tactics. If you love me, you'll come home early. We don't know how to express ourselves and say, you know what, I'd really love it if you came early today and we shared, I'd love to spend some time with you. Can you come early today? We don't know how to express ourselves that way because we are feeling vulnerable. So what do we say? Kazi yako ni kukunywa. Hata hata huku nyumba unaingianga sijui vile unataka. We don't know how to express ourselves. And then when we say that, what does the other guy say? Anyway, if I go home at 10 o'clock, if I go home at 2 o'clock, mama bado tu atapiga makelele. So, see, I will just
that's a lie you're telling yourself as well, because you don't want to face the demon. You don't want to face the problem.
Yeah. Now, here's the funny bit, yeah? You'll find these two people want the same thing, yeah? But they don't know. They both don't know how to express themselves, which is the height of unconscious relationships, yeah? Communication zero. Communication is usually threats. When they live on takuacha,
Yeah.
Instead of saying, I'm not happy.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Allow me to read some of the comments. I don't know whether
please.
I read this one. We were left behind. It's so many things. For me, love is what you define it to be. Why I say this is because there are many variables. What I may like in a love relationship may be nothing for another. Very true, very true. But I like what Alice is saying as well, because it's beginning to make us realize, you know what, sometimes we don't even know what we want or what the variables are. And like you said, they're variables. So they're bound to change. Maybe this time around you're thinking, oh, I'll be so happy for the women with a man who's got lots of money. And that is really a variable. And then the next day, they don't have that money anymore, and you're making more than them. And then you realize, you know what? I don't really love them. So, because you didn't define what true love is, what real, authentic love is. So I like that you say this. I don't know whether, Bill, you're still there and whether you, yeah. And then love is a feeling. Oh, that feeling. Now when you're still young, oh, that feeling that you think, well, if you will die if they leave you, and you're so convinced that you will die, unexplained warmth towards others. And then Malka did say, yeah, Nicole describing me right now. I think you're talking about that Eric and Nicole kind of relationship. That Eric and Nicole relationship. But what Alice is talking about codependency. And funny enough, it did have its heights of amazing moments where when it would be 100, then it would be 0. And the 0 is Nicole was, even though she wasn't living a conscious life then, she still knew right and wrong. She still knew manipulation. She still understood what a sociopath is. So, and then we had this conversation recently with Alice as well and Bilham, where you're saying some of us don't even understand how these people operate, and that's why it happens to the best of us. And just for you out there, if you still don't know, they really operate in our, they're skillful. It's a skill. They understand people's behavior. So when they picked you intentionally, they knew why they picked you, like you're saying the bully thing, and you know the person being bullied. They pick you for a reason, energy. They know that they'll be able to reach their goals with you. So they pick you, you vulnerable person, wanting love. They study you, they take time to know everything about you. They realize, oh, what do you like? Okay, you know, they study you so well, and you're so in love with this person because finally somebody who listens to you. Perfect man. So you're so happy this person is listening to you, and they're just keen. Then what happens? The manipulation starts coming in steadily. First, they start with ensuring they separate you from your friends. They'll find ways of separating from your friends, and they'll justify them, and you'll think they were your own thoughts. Gaslighting. You think it's you who wanted that. They'll start, oh, you remember Alice didn't come to your wedding? Where would you go to hers? You know, you remember she did this, you know? Then it starts like that, and you're like, yeah, actually true. Then you stop. Now you don't talk to Alice. Then you don't talk to your parents. And what do? They build a relationship with your parents because they're sending maybe money or they're calling them, and you're like, oh, my mom did that to me last time. I won't forgive her. So by the time you realize it's just the two of you, they've separated you with your children and your family and everybody else. Then now it starts like, if you don't have your own job or your own cash, then they're like, how will you survive without me? You don't even work, or you don't even have enough money. How will you look after the children? You're insisting you go with the children. Then it will be like, oh, nobody can love you. Look at how you've changed. Now you're this, now you're thin, you're fat, or you're, you know, I saved you from the wolves. Nobody wanted you. You know, they start, and that's when you get stuck. And that's when the beatings come, or all sorts of psychological abuses. Skip anything. Yeah. Hi, Stephen. Welcome. I don't know whether it's the first time you joined us. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm still here. So, anybody has anybody been or noticed now that they're in a wrong kind of love situation where they're codependent on the other person and they thought they were in love with that other person? Are you still in that situation? Then Alice, now I think you need to help us because, okay, I thought I'm in love, I'm with this person now, and I'm beginning to realize, oh my God, I thought I was in love, but no, I'm in a manipulative kind of situation. What can you tell us about that when somebody realizes that? What are the first steps one should take?
That's a very good question, yeah. And what I usually recommend, yeah, is because I always say you are the attractor. So you do your inner work. Take time to work on yourself, yeah. Take time to work on the relationship you have with yourself. And then when you do that, when you work on the relationship you have with yourself, every other relationship will change, yeah, including this one. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you've mentioned narcissist and empath, and the two, like we are saying, an intimidator and a poor me, it's a very energetic connection. But then a narcissist will get into a room like this and can pick an empath without even having met them. Why? Because it's what we forget is we how do I put this? We communicate a lot energetically and non-verbally, right?
Yes.
Sometimes, like for example, if I get into a room and I have a lot of negative energy, but then you just pick it. Nitenge unaona kila mtu anaenda tu they are separate ways, and I haven't even said anything. Yeah.
Mm.
The same way, if I'm in a happy mood and I'm excited and I want to spread love, people are just drawn to me, yet I wouldn't have said anything. It's the same thing. The wounds that we have, zikwangi zimeandikwa hapa, but energetically, everything around us is communicating that. So an empath will be an automatic and such a good match for a narcissist. Why? Because an empath is the poor me. I want to take care of
Yes.
you. I want to fix you. Then the empath is saying perfect target. She wants to be fixed. She wants to be taken care of. So those are the things, like you're mentioning, those are the things that I will use to woo her and draw her in. So when you find yourself in that, you've been wooed, your family has been cut off because you are told, babe, don't talk to your parents. In fact, I don't like how your friend is always telling you what to do. In fact, she has bad manners. When I marry you, stop talking to her. They are cut off. And then Rajpata, goodness, it's me and him, and I'm in this situation. Before you start saying, you do, go back, go within and ask yourself, because it's not about him. Yeah, unless the guy has taken a gun and put it here and is telling you to do those things. Yeah, sit and ask yourself, why do you allow? Like for me, it was exactly that. This I'm speaking from experience. I was like, hey, Alice Jambi, wait, this guy, as much as you're saying he's like this, wait a minute, but you're matching him. He comes, he said, hii ni nyumba yangu, tutafanya kwanzia leo, tutafanya because nimesema. My mouth had not been, tipped. I'd have said, I'm also part of this house and I'd love for us to, but I was too scared. I was too scared to express myself. I was too scared
You
to
don't
share.
even know how. Sometimes you don't know. You just don't know how, because you think anything you say will trigger, but it's just maybe because nobody's taught you how to say it the right way, and you've not gotten to understand the person, the ways you could possibly tell them something, so that you end up having a meaningful communication. Nobody teaches you that. Sasa unakuwa too scared because you'll utter something na utapiga or something. Because you don't know how to say it right. It's so sad. Really sad.
Actually, the biggest reason that we get ourselves there, it's because we lack boundaries. Because
I like it.
If I had boundaries, even when we were starting to date and into the relationship and all, if I had boundaries, that relationship wouldn't have gone that way, But for me, no, it was going back. Why don't I have boundaries? Why am I afraid of speaking out? Why am I afraid of communicating if I'm not happy with something? Why am I afraid of rocking the boat? Why am I? And to date, I do not like conflict. But what I've come to realize, there's something called healthy conflict. So, badala kupeleka, for me, because I used to sit with my issues, I get mad, stasema nakasirika nalenga. Yeah. In fact, I call it emotional stacking. I would just stack anger, hurt, disappointment. So what happens is, when you keep on stacking, you build a block between you and your partner. There's nothing nice atai kusema usikie. Why? Because this guy is always, you always see the negative things,
Absolutely.
But it's because you never took personal responsibility to put those boundaries. You never took personal responsibility to express yourself and say, hey, me, by the way, I don't like how you treated me like this. I don't like how when we were somewhere, you made fun of, I don't know, maybe one of my weaknesses, and I felt bad. But instead of saying,
you made a fool of me,
Exactly. I don't like it when you expose my weaknesses to other friends, because I feel exposed. And when I'm sharing these things with you, I'm in my vulnerable moment and expect you to have my back. But instead of saying that, unakasirika, then you stop sharing. When you stop sharing, you lose the connection. Then the other person is wondering, why aren't Squeezy? They're so cold towards me. Emotional intelligence 0. They're so cold towards me. Anyway, even me, I'm going to revenge. Hata mi sianiongeleshi. So, yeah, exactly. Hata me, I'll go do my own things. or they'll do something so extra to get your attention because they know that's the way they'll tick you off. Yeah. So if you find yourself in that relationship where you're stuck and you're like, this is not where I should be, what I usually recommend, unless there's physical abuse, what I usually recommend is take time to know yourself. Don't even think of leaving, because I can assure you, most of the time we think when we leave we'll stop feeling that way. Yeah. When we leave, it's the solution to this madagodanyo that I'm feeling. Yeah. Then you leave thinking, yes, I'll get another partner who'll treat me so well, who'll take care of me, who will treat me like a queen. And then you forget you haven't done your work. So
You've not
you're
changed.
carrying exactly.
But then
You're
if you don't
carrying one.
change, it changes.
Exactly. You haven't changed. You're carrying one half of a broken relationship outside. Of course, you're going to attract the same thing. Why? Because you have the same patterns. You're going to
Yeah.
attract.
In fact, you're worse off now because you have added trauma now from the last relationship.
Exactly.
You get
And then
worse
a
and
bit.
better.
Exactly. Before we know it, we start saying men are trash, all women are after money, and is it all men? Have you sampled all men? No.
No,
Have you
the ones
sampled
we
all women?
attracted. Let's read this.
Exactly.
Here. As Africans, were never taught how to love or give love. We have cropped through darkness, put in the mix of our culture, our patriarchal society, and the Western culture depicted on the media, especially in soap. Recipe for disaster. We have had to unlearn and learn right at the same time. The learning for me is still continuing. Hence, self-awareness come to play. Also, we were not, I think, taught about. We were not taught about how we feel. It has been shunned from childhood, unlike the Western culture where they're taught to express themselves. Absolutely. And that's why Alice is being about boundaries. When I had Alice mentioning boundaries, I was like, very important. You can't talk about love without boundaries.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
love without boundaries. It's
Mm.
not gonna happen. It's not gonna
Mm.
happen. We were not taught how to love because our parents didn't know how to express love. Okay, and maybe because the original African culture got tampered with, so now they are also all over the place. Maybe because maybe if they had the original culture, we would have felt it, but they didn't have that. So we had to learn a new culture, and with the new culture, the other culture was more expressive. Ours wasn't expressive, and we've seen what happens with most of our families where you're being beaten up and you're being told you're being beaten out of love, and all you can think of, mimi anakufa. Yani, you really think you're gonna die that day, and you're being told it's out of love, it's love. That your jinga is
Yeah.
being beaten up.
Yeah.
But your jinga is me. So that your jinga is me. Oh my god. Oh my god. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Okay, I'll let you
Mm.
continue. I wanted to read that. I wanted to.
There's something that you mentioned, yeah, that I thought we should pick it. When you mentioned sometimes we are not clear about what we want, yeah, and we get into relationships without really understanding how we are meeting, what our needs are, and how we are meeting those needs. Yeah, let me give an example. A very common example. We have, say, let's call her Mary. Mary wants what almost every girl in Nairobi wants: a man with money.
Yeah.
But we never sit to ask
Yeah.
ourselves, what are we when we say I want a rich man, I want a man with money, what am I looking for? Because subconsciously you're not just looking for someone who will give you money to go to the salon. And what we are subconsciously looking for, and what we are subconsciously asking for, is a sense of safety, a sense of safety in terms of, okay, no, I don't have to worry so much about me fending for myself, right? There's a sense of elevated status. Oh, now I can be putting on, I don't know, this, I can be going to the salon, I can be doing this. So we don't take the time to understand these are my needs. I'm looking for, I don't know, elevated status. I'm looking for a sense of safety and dependability. And then
Absolutely.
we ask ourselves, is this the best way to meet my needs?
Ah, there we go. There we go.
Mm,
First, we don't even understand what money means and what it means to
mm,
us. So you want to find money in love or in a relationship. So you are
yeah,
looking for somebody's son to give you that. What does money
yeah,
mean to you? What is it you're after? Why do you think you want money? Is it because everybody wants money? Is it the sense of security? Is it if it's the sense of security? Have you tried other avenues before you take somebody's son out of the street and bring them home and just
exactly.
start milking them, and you can't give them love, and somebody's son just wants to be loved and start a family? So they thought
Then
they
can I add?
hmm?
Can I add that somebody's son,
Hmm.
of course, can immediately tell you're after them for money? So, what happens with, unfortunately, in such relationships? See, the guy knows it's a transactional relationship. I'm giving you
Transaction.
money, you're giving me your attention and sexual intercourse. I will use you. And then he'll use you and move on to the next. And then someone comes back crying, he used me. What do you mean you are also using him for money? You
You're also
know,
using him. So you guys,
exactly, you're
there was no
using him.
love there. There was no love intended.
Eh,
You knew what you came for. You knew when to went what you went for, and then later on you
exactly,
want to turn it into love. They're like,
exactly.
no, that wasn't on the table. Love wasn't on the table. What was on the
Exactly.
table is I have these needs. You have these needs. We exchange. Everybody
Exactly.
goes home. Now you want marriage. Now you want family. No. Or how can we start a family without love? There was never
Exactly.
love.
Love. Exactly. It is having, a conscious relationship is having that sense of clarity. These are my needs, and these are your needs. Yeah. And this is how you can, this is how we are meeting each other's needs and being very clear. Some of us want, what? Marriage. But we are so afraid of saying, I want to get married. So when we meet someone, we just say, me, I just want to see what will happen. Then the man starts dating you. Then 3 months, 4 months, ameboeka. Then you
Mm,
start, what? You start crying. He used me, but you said you don't want anything serious. You just want, because you're afraid of being clear about what you want. Yeah. The other thing that I feel we should talk about is something that happens in most unconscious relationship,
mm,
because for what I like calling a conscious relationship, there should be, the main thing would be two people are coming in together for
yeah,
purposes of growth. Yeah.
yeah.
Because a relationship is where you'll be triggered the most. You'll be able to see those wounds that you have, but you're in this
Mm-hmm,
loving space where you can heal. Yeah. Where
mm,
you can grow as a person,
mm-hmm,
and you can also grow individually.
mm,
Unfortunately, here's the thing. Yeah. We get into relationships hoping the other person will not change, but even you're growing. So what do?
mm-hmm.
We start saying, nani baba nani alianza kupata pesa siku hizi hakujangi. Then you start feeling like, I don't know, one person is growing, the other person is pulling back. I remember there's this time a few years ago, and I was in this conversation, and someone said something that really stuck in my head. Yeah? And they said, what? Mimi siwezi kataka bwanangu apate pesa. I was like, but you guys are not doing well. As in, you're struggling and you're praying for your husband not to make
Not
it.
to have to.
Yes. Then she says, ni kwa sababu vile muona, the day ataomoka, he'll become a different person. And I was like, honey, this is not
Can
a
you
good
imagine that's how you walk
relationship.
on that stagnant? Alafu when somebody leaves that relationship, they flourish, and then people start branding them names, including uchawi. But it's a form of uchawi because your mouth is so powerful, and Aki, our words are so powerful. So unataka kustagnate, unataka mwenzako pia kwame hapo just because you're scared because of your insecurities. Well,
Exactly. Exactly. It's
I feel
it's
like
it's
that.
having, it's just having those very how do I call it? Just communicating that, you know what, I am changing and I am growing. I'm learning so much about myself. And I would love for my partner to be in the same. They are growing, they're
Yeah,
investing in themselves, they're doing.
yeah.
And since love is not a feeling, because I might not be liking this new person,
Mhm.
but I have committed, I've made a commitment. So we are going to
Mm,
grow together and I'm going to support your growth. And
mm.
sometimes your growth means we might not even be together.
And which is okay.
It
It
is
would be
okay.
wonderful if we're together. It would
It
be
is
wonderful if
okay.
we go together and adjust and understand that growth is important, change is important. You're becoming a
Exactly.
better version of
Exactly.
yourself. I'm becoming a better version of myself. How can we blend the two and make a wonderful thing? But sometimes the imbalance causes the separation and it's
Exactly.
shame and sad.
Exactly. Which actually brings me to one question I always ask. Yeah. And one thing that I'm always against, which is we base the success of a relationship on time. Oh my God, they've been married for 10 years. Oh, wow. They've been married for 20 years. Wow. They're divorced. Oh my God. Yet, unasikia someone has been married for 20 years, she lost herself, ama he lost himself within that relationship. They don't even talk, they're not friends, they're just tolerating each other, yeah? And we call that success. We clap before to joy. It's not even, we don't base the success of relationships on the quality, of relationship, on
Oh, how
the
happy.
growth on both parts. We base it on what? On time. Ati 10 years sasa pengine hata ni kuvumiliana, wamevumiliana 10 years, yeah,
Mm,
which makes me ask this question, yeah.
mm,
So my question is, if I've been married for 20 years, yeah, and I lost myself, I'm just in this thing for the kids' sake, as most of us say. I'm just here for the children. I don't even know who this man is. He has his own life. I have my own life. I couldn't even, I
mm.
don't even know who Alice is. And then someone else was married for 1 year or 2 years, but they got a lesson. They got divorced, yeah. But from that divorce, they grew and learned something about themselves.
And possibly
And
told friends.
exactly. And they grew in leaps and bounds within either those 2 years or after the divorce. Between these two people, who would we term as successful?
The quality.
Yeah.
The quality. By
Yeah.
all
Which
means,
is
for that, they will be mature to support each other even after the separation. They will know, how the strengths, like the other person's strength and how they like to be supported.
mm,
Definitely the quality. Definitely the
exactly.
quality.
Exactly. So if we get to a situation where two people have grown, yeah, and
Mm,
they've grown to the extent that one has grown that there is no longer that much, their
mm,
values are not aligned anymore.
mm.
Imagine it's okay to say, I love you and I release you.
Yeah,
But what do we do? Akuna mali unaenda.
yeah.
You're not happy, but you're not going anywhere. If I can't have you, no one will have you.
Misery loves company. So, okay, I think we're getting the gist of, how love can be horrible, how we define love wrong and end up with the wrong kind of love and thinking it was love. So, can we try and, define or explain a blissful, wonderful love? What will that be? What would that entail? If you can say maybe in general, what would yours
Mm,
be like? Does it look like?
okay, that's a good question. For me, it would have three things. The first one, authenticity, please. I that relationship or this relationship is we are both authentic, yeah. So there is no meeting or discussing or conversing or relating with what I like calling social masks. I don't want you to see me because I don't know, I'm scared that when you see me you won't like me and you'll reject me.
Mm,
So I'm pretending to be someone else. I'm pretending, oh, you said you like a chick who I don't know likes human hair. All the dates ndo mimi huwa na show up na human hair and I can't even stand it because I'm trying to impress you. So for me, authenticity is key, where you can be yourself, totally acceptable. I accept you as you are, and I can be myself. No one is trying to change the other person, you know.
Mhm.
And by change here, I mean, you know, the if you're trying to change, of course you can tell me some things that can help me maybe in my growth, yeah. But if you're trying to change the intrinsic part of who I am, then we have a problem. Then we're not aligned. I'm not the person for you, and it's okay. You're not the person for me. And here's the thing, sio lazima. It's okay. It just means the person is for me is out there, or the person for you is out there, right? So the first one for me is on authenticity. The second one for me would be emotional connection. So are we able to be in an open space, yeah, emotionally with each other, where we have what I call a connection and not an attachment, yeah? We are emotionally connected, and we can be able to have that relationship from that point. So emotional connection for me would mean, number one, I am very aware that I am not perfect. I don't expect you to be
Yeah.
perfect. I
Yeah.
am very aware that I have wounds that haven't healed, and there are things
Yeah.
that trigger me. And you're very aware, and we're in this space, we are supporting each other to grow.
Yeah.
So you're supporting me in my healing process. Because
Yeah.
here's the thing, sometimes we say, hey, me, I'm working on myself. So, and we tend to stay single because we are working on ourselves. But what I say is, get out there, date. You don't even have to be in a relationship, date. Because the only way you'll know whether you're in a work, like you were saying earlier, the only way you'll know you're actually there's progress in your inner work is
Mm.
when you're in this space with someone and you're triggered and you don't behave the same way you used to be, you used to behave. Yeah.
Mm.
Let me give an example. I remember one of the my
Your sound's gone off. Your sound's gone off.
oh, okay. Hey, na vile nilikuwa nimeongea.
That's right. Yeah, you are at. I remember something. Or you something like you said, like you want to mention something
Yeah,
else.
as in they're very, let me put it this way because it's a long story. Let me shorten it, yeah. And just say it's understanding what my triggers are and sharing them with this person so that they understand. Maybe when you say this, I'll act in a different way. It's not, I want you to understand in advance. It's not you, that it's my own shenanigans that I'm trying to deal with. So Nikki, behave, please be a bit, kind, or maybe even call me out. Sometimes I might not know I'm behaving like that. Just call me out, yeah? If you see, for example, if you see I'm being dismissive, because
Yeah.
I realize I tend to dismiss people a lot. I
Yeah.
will I will go on a date, then the first thing I start seeing mistake. It's because what I realize is subconsciously I'm looking for mistakes so that I can what is it called? I'm looking for red flags. Hata kwenye hakuna ninatafuta. So it's a protection mechanism that I didn't know I had, yeah? A protection mechanism because I'm afraid of getting into this relationship and getting hurt. But this protection mechanism that I've put that I think is helping me is also blocking me from finding love. Because every time I meet someone, hata akiwa mpoa aje bado nitamtafutia makosa. So it means it won't really go so far ahead, yeah? So it's understanding whoever is coming in, by the way, is not perfect. And I am not perfect. And if our values are aligned, we have the person has to be having their own goals. The person has to be doing their own thing and enjoying, and those are for me. So there are things that I have that would make for me a quality mate, yeah. So if those things are there, it's for me to understand, okay, then let's do this. At least stop thinking you're protecting yourself, but what you're doing is blocking yourself. Yeah. And the last quality that I would talk about a successful relationship is growth. If I can be with this person and I am growing as an individual, and
Yeah.
sometimes growing would be what? Being called out, tough love. I love you, Lakini, the way you're behaving, by the way, it's annoying. You know, I love you, and those boundaries that you're talking about. I love you, but this is my time. We won't I need to rest. You know, I love you, but you cannot be addressing me like that because it makes me feel this way. Even understanding how do you communicate. If I can grow, the other person is growing, and the relationship is growing. But if you meet someone vile alikuwa 5 years ago, even ndio wako, you know, their relationship, the way your relationship, because relationships are evolving, because you're an evolving human being. Yeah. But most of the time we don't allow our relationships to evolve out of fear.
Yeah.
Perhaps if they evolve, we'll draw apart.
Yeah.
So since it's out of fear, we start
Yeah.
relating out of fear. How does fear look like in a relationship? It looks like jealousy. Oh my God, I saw you, I don't know, uh, staring at, and I see clips like that. A guy staring at a chick passing, he's being hit. He's just appreciating beauty. He's with you, honey. Unashughulika. You know, it's not like akimfuata now you have a problem. But he's appreciating a well nini. Ay, please. If it was me, I'd walk right in front. Umemaliza sawa, watch mine now. Are you happy? You know, just make a joke out of it. But what do we do? Jealousy. Why? Jealousy comes out of insecurity.
Insecurity.
You're the one who's holding the man, but his eyes nini on another. Discussion your whole evening. That date imenda. You know, you're mad. You start bringing issues from, I don't know, 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 years ago. So if you guys were supposed to have a nice outing, bas, umeharibu. Why? Jealousy from your own insecurity. Yet you're seated with that man there. If you're seated with that man and you're still feeling like I don't know, he's wants other women, then honey, the issues is not you know, those other women. The issue is here between the two of you. You guys need to sort it out. So don't go after, I don't know, the women who and I see this a lot. Yeah, you hear someone saying my husband was cheating, my boyfriend, my partner. Then instead of addressing it with the husband or boyfriend or whosoever, they start looking for the chick. Ay, ni wanawake wangapi utachapa hii Nairobi? You know, how many women will you call? How many women will you beat up? How many women will you threaten? Deal with, you know, deal with your issue. Your issue is right there. Deal with what is
Then
going
you
on.
forget all other duties because you're so busy trying to, you know, safeguard your property and fighting with
Exactly.
strangers. Some just
Exactly.
stand with him. They're not interested in him. They don't want to know anything about him, and there you are fighting and fighting. I was gonna talk to Milka for a minute because there's a time she said that we're in the same situation, I think, or something like that. I can't remember what she was saying. Excuse me. I
Sorry.
think she referred to the Nicole Eric situation. We are using this as a case study if you just joined. So we are saying that a situation where we had this person that who is Nicole, the old me, and who was dating this person. We decided to use the word name Eric. So they had this kind of relationship where when it was high, like super 100% fun. And when it was low, oh my God, crazy. And it wasn't crazy as in fighting or crazy as in like things like that. It was just like both hot-headed. So like, I'm leaving or go or leave, you know. There was not, we never had time for fights because I always never liked fights, verbal fights or whatever. So I would never entertain them or do them. So it just meant that we broke up. So we break up and then we'll miss the highs and come back. So what Alice was trying to teach us is that sometimes we think we're in love, but we're in a codependency kind of relationship. And it could be anything. You could be addicted to anything in that relationship. So you keep going back to that thing or being with somebody because of that particular thing. So I think Milka said that we are similar in a way. So what we were saying previously earlier is that we end up having patterns that you attract certain kind of people, or you keep on going back to a certain kind of person because you've not changed. The person probably hasn't changed either. So you just keep on going back to each other. You keep on attracting the same kind of people. You start saying, oh, all men are this or all women are this, but you're just attracting the same kind of people because you're not willing to do the pain. You're not willing to go through the pain and change. So I was going to tell Milka, you know what? If you're still in that situation, for me personally, because I was asking Alice what true love is for her, how she would define it, a perfect love. For me, I just think is that if you listen and do what Alice is saying, including like just knowing yourself emotionally, what are your emotional needs, and they differ from for everybody. You know, we are all different. For me, I love freedom. I love my space. I love somebody respecting that you know what, sometimes I just want to be, I love me time. I feel like I'm complete as I am. So if somebody's so like keen and needy, they will take up my space and they'll suffocate me. So if they can understand, if they're strong enough and they can understand that and respect that and like do their own things, have their own hobbies. I want us to share hobbies and stuff, but I don't want us to share all hobbies and stuff. I don't want us to do everything together. I want my space and time to do my other thing and just chill. Like if I decided to go to the bathroom, you don't have to be in the bathroom too, because I'm in the bathroom. Do something else, just find something else to do with yourself. So yeah, I was just wanted to tell Milka, for me, so it was just understanding myself, my blind spots, and my emotional needs, learning about boundaries, very important. We can't even talk about boundaries enough today because it's a broad topic. Boundaries include things like,
Yeah.
yeah, it can be anything because we are all different, but being able to tell people no, not because you're being rude, not because you don't respect them, not because you love them. It's just the same way that you taught your children not to go into your bedroom so that they don't go into your bedroom and maybe you're there with daddy, so that they don't accidentally do that. You didn't come from a bad place telling them no, you can't go into mommy's room without knocking. Those are the boundaries you're talking about. We need that with our spouses, we need that with our friends, we need that with everybody. And then for me, so that would be a perfect start. And being with somebody who is like happy to always change. Things are changing. Things that were acceptable a few years ago are not acceptable now. So like Alice is using the word growth. Are you happy to grow? Are you happy to let me grow? Are you happy to change? Are you happy for more? Are you happy for betterment? Are you happy for improvement? Or you just want to be you 10 years later? I'll be bored of the same you 10 years later because I'll be a different me, you know? And then I'll look at you and I'm like, oh, okay, how did we end up together again? It would be confusing. So if we're both growing and we both articulate where we are headed and we have same end goals, then we know the chances of sticking together is higher now. We have maybe not everybody wants certain things in life. One person might want to just like in 10 years retire into the village, just quiet life, peaceful. And the other one might be like, oh no, I don't want to leave the corporate world yet. I want to be in this corporate world and have like a penthouse somewhere. So when you talk about side things, okay, because everything else is working, but our end goal is not working. How can we meet in the middle? You've spoken about them before, not during, not in the middle of it, and then you realize, okay, oh my God, who is this that I'm falling in love with? So for me, that's what I reckon love is. And like I said before as well, that I will define it as a choice, something that I will tell myself that I've chosen to love you every day. I've chosen to be with you. So whatever is happening in our lives, we'll find a way to work it out. We'll find a way to, there's always an answer, there's always a solution. So I'm happy for us to work together so long as we know we are bound by love, that we're both coming from a good place and we're ending up in a good place. then that to me is perfect love. But about passion, I can't promise you that we'll be passionate every day. Oh, and I wake up tomorrow and I'm like, damn, not bad. Why should I promise you something I can't deliver? 20 years ago, yes, I would probably. Maybe you don't talk about that, you don't talk about that 20 years ago because you can deliver plus more. Right now, if it's your priority, I'm like, okay, thank you, bro. Bye. I think you need to find somewhere else right now. Yes, it's nice, but it's not a promise and it's not something that has to be on the table every day. Do we have other things, other interests? That is a plus and a nice bonus. Boy, oh boy, if it's a plus, thank you. Bye. No hard feelings. No hard feelings. I don't know, Milka, I want to hear from you. Did it resonate with you? Because you're the one who said something up there. Yeah. Okay, Alice, I don't know whether there's something that you haven't tackled today, and I don't know what direction people are hoping for this to go. For me, I want to reach a point where we're just talking about beautiful, pure love. That's where we've seen what love isn't, but I just want to feel that love, that love that wake up every morning and just energized.
I wanted to emphasize what you've just said, yeah, because I feel it's so important. And a lot of us don't get into relationships with clarity. We get into relationships on autopilot mode. I'm feeling this key thing, you're feeling this key thing. Unajisikia twende, as in we'll figure it out as
As
we
we
go.
go.
Yeah. Then, like you're saying, someone says, but then she was so up to it. She used to want us to do it every single day. Nowadays, Yani, asking her to give me is like, my God, trying to dig oil in, I don't know, Turkana or something. Or you're saying, oh my God, he used to give me so much attention. Nowadays, is just focused on work. Yeah. So it's having these conversations
Absolutely.
before you start. So what does it
Actually,
mean for you?
before, during, and it's a whole thing. It's not something you're just doing. Okay, you initially told me that you won't be doing it. No, things change, people change. Now keep talking. What has prompted this? Why does it have to work a lot more now? And we had agreed maybe that's not what we want. We want to be free people who are free to travel and stuff. Why are you doing that to us? Then you just come and maybe you'll hear it's coming from a good place. Like, okay, I wanted us to do something big next year, and that's why I thought maybe if I took extra work. So it's a continuous thing. We think that
Yeah.
okay, end of no, journey.
Yeah, exactly. And allowing your partner to tell you the truth, yeah? Because some of us think love is just someone being nice to us, someone saying nice things to us. So if they call us out, we start saying, hey, they're being mean, yeah? If they do things that we don't want them to do or we are not in agreement, we start saying, hey, there's an issue. It comes from control. Behave this way because when you behave this way, you make me happy. But honey, it's not my responsibility to make you happy. It's not for me to behave the way, because if you start telling me behave this way, you're trying to control me. It's your responsibility to make yourself happy. I make myself happy, then we come and share that
Absolutely.
happiness. It's your responsibility to share your needs. It's not my responsibility to, and as women, we do this a lot. Yeah, we give men a hard time of guessing games. You guess how to meet my emotional need. I'm mad at you, but I don't want to say I'm mad at you, so nitakunyamazia a whole week, hoping that you'll get the hint uniulize. But then if there's one thing I don't do is that if you cannot express yourself, by the way, Siko, even my kids know that. If they can't come and tell me, Mom, I'm mad at you because you said and it hurt my feelings. But then
Me, I'm a self-confessed sulker. Because I used to hate arguments so much. I hated arguments so much that the only option is being silent. But I also don't want to carry it until the next day. So I met my match because, okay, you're just attract your match. I met my match and he turned it into a competition. I didn't want it to be a competition of sulking. I just didn't know how to express what I felt. I didn't know how to express that I'm angry. I'm mad, but I don't want us to argue. I just want to tell you that I'm disappointed about this. I didn't like this.
Mm,
I don't know how. So my option
mm.
is keep quiet. And when I keep quiet, I end up sulking. When I'm sulking, you sulk back. And then now we are in a sulking match, and there's no winning in a sulking match.
Yeah. And there's
It's
someone
so
that I
hilarious,
met.
Margot.
There's someone that I met who introduced me to this thing that I totally love, yeah. And it's like date night, yeah. So once a week, you purposely make time
Mm,
to go out, because you're not going out to, okay, fine, you're going out to bond, yeah, but part of that going out is you're talking about every single thing that may hold up like. So
mm,
what you're saying, instead of sulking the whole week, there's date night on Thursday, and on that date night there's a segment for talking about how I have how I have just need your, I was on your nerves the whole week. And at that point, it's for me to listen and not to defend myself, but just to hear you. You know what? When you said this, I wasn't happy, and this is how I felt. And just
mm,
understanding, you're not attacking me. You're sharing how you felt so that
mm,
I can be able to understand you. So that
mm,
next time tajua. And sometimes we say things and we don't mean to hurt the other person, but like we were talking about earlier, we all have different triggers and we don't know how we are triggering the other person. So
yeah.
we might say things and we do not know that we are hurting them, or we
Mm,
might do things, yeah, like
mm,
say for example, if you're the kind of person who was brought up by with empty promises, yeah, your parent says, aya umekuwa number one, takubaya dress, or you're told, oh, by the way, you did I'll do this for you. Then those promises never used to be met, yeah.
mm,
Then you get a partner who really does not keep their promises. You're gonna be triggered. So every time you're reacting to him, you'll be reacting to either your mom or your dad, or I don't know who back then, yeah. And he'll be wondering, hey, but si nilisema fine, nitakuja na tissue, nilisahau, and it's true, I forgot. So why are you causing for 2 hours? But it's for you now to understand, by the way, this is not about tissue. This is bigger to me. This is not about tissue. This is about you not hearing me. This is how I feel. So this is not about tissue. I'm
mm,
feeling like you don't listen to me. I
mm,
feel like you don't prioritize my needs. I
mm,
feel like, and being able to share with your
mm.
partner, and your partner not asking, because sometimes we do
They should
minimize our
respect
partners.
that, and you should be also sympathetic of each other's feelings because
Exactly,
have
exactly.
from different
'Cause-
upbringing. So whatever was okay in that family probably wasn't okay in this other family. So whatever you're
exactly.
feeling, yeah, whatever you're feeling is just your upbringing. So for me, like let's say, oh, I didn't see Monica. Yeah, welcome, Monica. Today we're talking about love and relationship. Glad to see you. So yeah, what was I saying is like for instance, for me, the sulking bit where now I don't talk about my feeling anymore is it's a childhood thing where maybe there was a reason why I decided to protect myself. Maybe I realized I
Mm,
got beaten for it.
mm,
So okay, instead of being getting beaten for it, why don't I just keep it to myself and then
mm,
avoid the beating? So if the partner comes from a sympathetic and empathetic point, and then just understand that no, you don't do it intentionally, and then how can we work towards communicating better so that you know
exactly.
yeah, so
Exactly.
that, like you're
Exactly.
saying, during that such important meetings, you can come out and say, you know what, I feel like when this happened, this is what, I felt
Mm,
disrespectful when you did this, I felt
mm,
this, I
mm,
felt that. And then
mm,
don't turn it into a match where now it's another competition where they're saying, okay, when that's the only problem, is that sometimes we don't want to take our spouses as being in our team as somebody that's in a different team, so you always have to compete with them, so you're always like, if you understand that you're in the same team and you want the same thing and the same goal, and this is permanent for you, doing it out of love, it makes the communication a lot more easier.
Yeah.
A lot more easier. Aki kuna watu wengine unaweza ongea kesho na unajaribu kumwambia, hey, like a brick wall, but that's what you attracted, Cynthia.
Yeah.
You tell them, I feel like when you do this, I feel disrespected, and then I decide to keep quiet, and because of that, so that we don't argue. Oh, you don't talk to me, so you also disrespect me. So no.
Yeah.
Concentrate on the issue.
And let me add to that, yeah, because I used to do that. I used to take criticism as a sign of personal attack. So when he's trying to communicate and say, you know what, when you did this, I felt, hey, by the time anamaliza niko na mistakes zake nimempangia. But you also did. Yes. But you also did. But
and then as women, sometimes we have a file. Mimi sikubarikiwa in that way. Hapo now Mungu alinisaidia. Sikubarikiwa. We have a whole encyclopedia of all the wrongdoings from the day before you got wedded, or from the day you met. Yeah, whole encyclopedia. So say I point out to one thing that, you know what, when I came home, I felt like you've been home the whole day and the house looking like that. After a stressful day, when I come home, I just feel like my head. Hey, nawe si uliacha socks zako sijui lini ukaacha. Let me read what Monica is saying. Oh, sorry, guys. Love is a tricky word. It's most often understood as an intense feeling of deep affection. Biblically, love has a much deeper and richer meaning. It transcends a feeling or emotion. It is a way of relating to others. I wanted that biblical point, you know why? Because what does it, the verse goes? I like that the things it mentions, you know, like love is kind.
First Corinthians 13. Love is kind. Love does not keep a record of wrongs. That one.
It's so beautiful. That's why I wanted it. And I think,
can I add something there? There's someone who shared with me, and I thought it was really powerful. And they were saying, if you ever get to the point, or when you get to the point, yeah, where probably you're dating, and if you didn't do this and you're married, you can still try and see, yeah. Instead of you go to that verse, and then instead of the word love, you put your partner's name. How many things can you get there? Eric is kind. Eric does not keep a record of wrongs. Eric does, you try and just score yourself as well. Alice is kind. Is Alice kind? Alice does not keep. Do I keep a record? So that according to that biblical vision of love, yeah, are you loving towards your spouse? Is your spouse loving towards you?
Takes two to tango. It takes two to tango. It's a nice guide to just choose and I like that. I wanted to copy this and put it on as a banner, but I couldn't find how to. I really like that. I was trying to, sorry. Yeah. And then she was saying, love is a gift. What you give, you receive back. There we go. Sorry. She's on the rock and roll trying to protect mommy. I don't know from which variant. I don't know what's coming to eat me. So, and then love is a gift. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know whether there is anything you want to talk about when as we finish a summary and stuff like that. As we finish, we've gone. Yeah. Anything you'd like to add, my darling?
Okay, clearly this is a topic that we cannot exhaust in one session, so that's fine. I'd want to emphasize on self-awareness. understanding yourself first. Don't get into a relationship hoping that the other person will know you by trial and error. Understand yourself so that you're able to communicate. Yeah, this is how I like doing things. This is how I feel supported. This is how I behave when I've been triggered. This is I don't know, like you're saying, I like my space. Just having that understanding, and also giving your partner room to have the same. Yeah, so self-awareness, self-awareness, self-awareness. The other one was what you're mentioning, just learning how to communicate, because most relationships, even the best, where people have come in, their values are aligned, they want the same things, they want to grow and all that. Communication, by the way, can make or break a relationship. So just understanding yourself and understanding your partner, and knowing, by the way, like you mentioned, my partner does not like it when I bring issues when he's just come home from work. That doesn't mean he doesn't want us to talk. That doesn't mean he does not want to see me, or to, all the stories we tell ourselves. That just means he wants his space. Or I know, and most of the time, funnily enough, we know how to communicate when we want money. When we want money, we know when to ask, babe. When sasa unajua, you know when to ask, and unajua hawezi kasema
Now we
hapana.
were the advisors.
We even know what to do to make sure he's in that good mood to give us. But when it's you trying to understand his needs, when it's you trying to understand his needs, or when you're trying to communicate other things, what do we say? We don't know how to. Yet when you want things for yourself, you know how to do it. Yeah, so it's just taking time to understand your partner, also understanding how does your partner communicate. What's the best time to communicate? How do you best communicate? How do you best express what you want or what you don't want? It could be either with this person. So self-awareness and communication are I'd say, the two biggest things that we can work on to improve our relationships. And of course, there's no perfect relationships. Relationships is about growth, about compassion towards the other person, and forgiveness. Because if we keep a tally of the records of what the other person has done, my God, no one will ever be with another person. So yeah, that's important too.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for me, I've seen somebody has commented on there. I'll read the comment, then I'll good conversation. Please not conscious beautiful true love is possible, but honestly, very, very rare to find. Each person's situation is unique, and not most relationship people just put up with a lot of out of convenience. Often we aren't genuine in how we express ourselves, though we pretend a lot, especially religious people, families. I've been a single for about 10 years since my daughter was born, especially relationship in North America, very commercial and low base because of existential. I think it continued. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I'll say this, and this is very important because this is what most of us feel. This is where we are at, and that's why a lot of us maybe stay single and stuff. First, stay single because it's your choice. Not that there's anything wrong with you or anything. It's just a choice, and maybe you're waiting to meet the right person. It's not a rush. It's not a competition. It's in an individual's choice. Most importantly, love yourself. Love yourself so much. If you don't know how to love yourself, you won't love anybody. Love yourself. Know how you want to be loved. And that's how you can show them. You'll show them. This is how I like to be loved. I like to buy myself flowers. I don't know, whatever, for whatever reasons. If you show me that kind of affection, I like that. I like a little bit of romantic gestures like that. Because not everybody likes romantic gestures. Back in our days, our parents, you buy them flowers. My mom used to buy a Mother's Day flowers. She'll be like, "Yo, peso ribu." So that's not the way to love her. The way to love her is money. So not buy a flower she'll gain, you know. So just understand how you want to be loved. yes, there are people who are dishonest there are people, let's say some women who are out there who just want somebody for their money and stuff, selfish reasons. You don't know their trauma, you don't know where they're coming from, you don't know why they're there. But if you're going to learn something, if you see such a person, we're trying to create an environment and a world full of love and empathy. And so don't judge them. That's somebody who's probably hurting. Just be kind. You don't have to be them, but if there's a chance, you can just teach them, you know what? Find self-love, because that comes out of not loving themselves and not understanding themselves, not understanding what, maybe if it's money, what money means to them and things like that. And if for the guy, if he's addicted to the sex, it's just maybe because he doesn't know any other way of expressing love. Maybe he was even abused. People now talk about it, but we never used to talk about it. Some people are abused, so that's why they're
Can
addicted.
I add something there? Please, because I feel it's very important. Yeah. When it comes to relationships, there are times that some people confuse sex with intimacy. That if I'm having intercourse with you, then we are being intimate. But intimacy goes beyond that. You can be intimate with someone without even having any intercourse. Yeah. Because intimacy is about having an emotional connection. But here's the thing: we have remember what we were talking about, childhood trauma. Some people are very avoidant when it comes to, they do not want to get close with someone because of two things. I'm scared if I get close to you, you'll see me, and I'm dealing with a lot of rejection wounds. Yeah. So you're going to reject me, you're going to hurt me. So I don't want you close. I don't want you close because I'm afraid of being rejected. And I'm scared if I show you who I am, you're going to reject me. Or I'm scared, I don't want to get too close to you because you'll come in and leave me. Why? Because I have a series of, I don't know, my dad left my mom. This happens with, people who had separated families. Yeah. My dad left my mom, so I'm already dealing with an abandonment wound. I've been having a series of boyfriends who come in and leave me, so I cannot deal with the hurt anymore. So what do? I block. But still I'm craving for an emotional connection. So in my head I'll think, okay, then uh let me have intercourse, then I'm being close with someone. But I like thinking of it this way: intercourse is the easiest thing you can have with another
Yeah,
human being.
yeah. I was gonna
Because
say the same thing when you said about the money thing. I was gonna say that it's also very easy just to find somebody with money. Very easy.
exactly,
Those things are very easy to
exactly,
find. They're everywhere.
exactly. And for intercourse is just what, two physical body parts meeting, right? But emotional connection takes a lot of vulnerability. And unfortunately, we were brought up thinking vulnerability is a sign of weakness.
It's a
That
bad
if I
thing.
put my guard down, people will come in and attack me. People will use my weaknesses when they see I'm not all put together, they'll use it against me. So we block that. But since we are still craving for a connection with another human being, we go for sex. And then we still don't feel fulfilled.
It
What
doesn't
we get is
fulfill
that,
anything. It's just like shopping when we buy handbags. You just keep on buying them. You will
exactly.
keep
In
on buying
fact,
them. There's no end.
let me share why. Because it's what we get is that dopamine rush. Yeah. And dopamine is that feel good. It's that feel good feeling you get when you get that handbag, when you have sex. So it becomes addictive. You want to do it more because kuna kitu ina miss, that intimacy, that connection that you're looking for, you're not getting it. So maybe James, there wasn't, but maybe Peter will do it. Maybe Andrew will do it. You find out and the same for dudes. Yeah. Maybe Mary will do it. Maybe Jane will do it for me. And you keep on thinking, okay, I'm not connecting, but it's because you're confusing intercourse with emotional connection. And in fact, some of the best relationships are actually based with, minus the intercourse first. Let me know you. Let me know you as a human being. Let me know you as a person. Then the intercourse is just what? Icing on the cake. But it's not the main thing. Unless now we're in a relationship where we know that's the main thing. So we are very clear on it. But if I want an emotional connection, then I shouldn't confuse it with intercourse. I thought it would be important to this point.
I like it. I like it. I like it. And I also like this comment because it's something a lot of us can relate to, and it sums up a lot of the things you're saying. So yeah, I'm recommending somebody to love themselves, and you don't have to be with somebody. It doesn't need somebody else, but it's good to be with somebody else. And there is true love. But true love comes from loving yourself first, then you're attracting
Yeah.
that other person. You will attract true love once you know how to love yourself and articulate that love and learn how
Mm,
to place your boundaries when it comes to love. And that's when you will find that you're not being used in quotes, because some people feel like that, oh, the people that are trapped, they're using them and leaving them and stuff. You don't place
mm,
those boundaries from the beginning, or you don't even know what they are, then they'll come and the same pattern will happen in your life. So love yourself, know how you want to be loved. Then when you meet that person, you can help them. And then you will love them knowing that you're in the same team and you speak and you communicate and everything like that. About religion, it's when it comes to love, it's not about religion or all these other things. It's about two people meeting and just
mm,
genuinely being there for each other and wanting to grow with each other. Um, so I think that is what I wanted to say about that. And then be kind to yourself, be forgiving. If that love hasn't happened yet, it's okay. If you chose
mm,
the wrong person, it's okay. We've all done it. Welcome to the queue. You know, it's okay. It really is okay. Just forgive
mm,
yourself and start all over again. You deserve love.
yeah,
Everybody wants to be loved. Everyone wants to be accepted and be with
mm,
somebody. So self-acceptance, and then welcome somebody to your life, practice those things, hope that they want to continue developing themselves,
mm,
communicate that is important for you, that you are in this journey and you'd like them to be in that journey with you, where you're not the same people 5 years from then you find that you went separate ways. So yeah,
mm,
that's what I wish for you. Love is a beautiful thing, and yes, it's heartbreaking. I think the doctors do categorize heartbreak as one of mental things. Yeah, it's really painful, but everybody deserves it. You need to try. You not really try. You need to experience it. They say you haven't lived if you haven't experienced love. Don't live in fear. You need to
mm,
experience it. Find love, be loved. If it works, beautiful. That's what you want. If it doesn't, it's okay. Learn from the
yeah,
mistakes. Know what went wrong, what
mm,
went right, what happened, and just give it another
mm,
shot when you're ready. But don't go there saying that everybody is the same, or you don't deserve love, or I don't know, like that. This comment, like thinking that people from a certain region maybe don't know how to love. Maybe you just haven't had time to. Everybody will complain. Even Kenyans right now complaining, oh, wasichana wa Nairobi wanataka tu pesa. Si wasichana wote wa Nairobi. They are wonderful wasichana wa Nairobi in beautiful
and all
relationships.
the men want to get laid.
Yeah, and yeah, that's what people say. So there's no perfect relationship, but two people can choose to work on their imperfection and create a relationship which is perfect. It takes two to tango. I pray
Mm,
that we all find love. Love is beautiful. I hope that it happens to all of us because we all deserve it. And I
mm,
think it's just part of our hard work. And we were engineered to love. It's in
yeah,
us. And so that's why we
yeah,
keep seeking it. And then, most importantly, don't forget your spiritual life. Very important. Grow with that person spiritually. It's hard to separate
mm,
that two. If you're growing with
mm,
someone spiritually, I don't care what religion or
mm,
whatever it is, it's really hard to separate the two because I think it's like angels guide you into that beautiful union. Yeah, I hope we've exhausted everything. If there's something we've not talked about, you can leave it in the comment section and then we can keep on talking about it. So, our guest today was Alice Njabi, our conscious coach, a wonderful lady. She also has a platform. As we close, actually, she'll just tell you briefly again about her and then we close. Asanteni, tell me where you joined from and stuff. Kama kunisalimia leo, this is the time kunisalimia. Tupige story while Alice anamaliza maliza.
Thank you so much. As usual, it is always a pleasure having these conversations with you. And you can find me on Facebook, alice.jambi the coach. That's my link. and or you can search for the Conscious Life Coach. That's the tag I like using. I also have a book that is on self-awareness. It's a workbook. It's not even a book. It's a workbook, meaning it's a book that you will need to do a lot of thinking and reflecting and writing, and not just a book that you'll sit and read about self-awareness and put it down and say, no, I'm self-aware. And the reason why I'm so passionate about self-awareness is because I discovered everything revolves around self-awareness. Everything about yourself, from your relationships to your career to, the way you parent, the way you treat yourself, every single thing starts with self-awareness. And unfortunately, most of us have not taken that time to be intentional in growing our own self-awareness. So from my own experiences and my own process, I came up with a book, and you can reach out to Nicole if you'd love to get a copy, and we can get in touch. Nicole, thank you so much. And yes, cheers to love, cheers to loving, and cheers to being loved.
We wish you all love, beautiful love,
Yes, to be loved and to love and be loved.
And to love and be loved, and it's a journey. There's all learning. You won't stop learning. You learn other things, ask, share, and stuff.
And to keeping our hearts open. Exactly. And to keeping our hearts open. Hakuna cha kusema ati I was character developed 5 years ago, so I want to be single for the rest of my life. If you want to connect with people, it is okay. Keep your heart open.
Thank you, Alice. We've said words have power. We are saying it again. And just a reminder, I've seen people attacking, you call it a akodi or something, accord, whatever. And I always mention that because I'm one of those people that just check things, and some people are now attacking about the wedding and stuff. People bringing up the old stories where she was saying how she was happy and getting married and stuff. She's trying. So 1 point to her. But I take the point back. Why? She keeps on calling herself president of single mothers. So how is she going to get married if she keeps on calling herself president of single mothers? She'll keep attracting divorce. Because the universe thinks she wants to be the president of single mothers. You can't be president of single mothers if you're married. So that's why she has to keep on divorcing. So what's the power? Remember, be careful with your words. Wish yourself well. Affirm yourself nice things about. Affirm yourself love. If you want love, be clear. What kind of a person? Be clear on what you're looking for. Don't go about the money and stuff. It's not a bad thing. You're not saying it's a bad thing. But go about the characteristic. I want a honest man, loving, who can love me like this, who can do that. Those kind of things that you really want, characteristic of a nice person.
Can I please? Sorry, this is the last thing I'm going to say because I know we are way out of time.
We've been out of time. You're almost 2 hours today. Wow.
Oh my goodness. This is the last thing. Then I keep quiet. I wanted us to connect what you're saying with our own relationships. I cannot be praying for and talking about, and I cannot be praying for and wishing for a good relationship with my partner, but I'm always picking out the wrong things that he's doing. I'm always telling my friends, or how he does not take care of me, how he does not think about me. So it's vile tu nasema, most of the time we are not aware how we are creating our reality with our words. So if I want,
the good things, doing the good thing they're doing, concentrate on that. Try and reassure them, remind them, I love you about this, I like this about you.
Exactly.
And reminding yourself too why you even love them, as you do that. So looking for the negative, Aisha.
Exactly. And it's just about, for me to sit and ask, so what does a good relationship look like? So am I that person? So I'm going to look out for the good in this person. I remember when I was doing this for myself, I remember thinking, you know what, the first thing if I like someone, nitaanza kumtafutia makosa. And when I realized that, I was like, I am changing my thoughts. When I like someone, I will focus on all the good things that they're doing, because this is what happens. When you focus on someone's good thing, it's human behavior that we want to impress people without even, it's just the way we grew up and we are being told, oh, you know, Alice, you've done such a good job. When your parents tell you that, you want to keep on doing, because, you know, it's reinforced behavior. But when you're told, when mtoto mtukuta tofanyangiza sitafanya, it's reinforced behavior. So what do you want to reinforce in your relationship? Compliment that man for the good things that he's doing, instead of focusing on what he is not doing. You never do this, you never do this. How about you change your tactic? Vile tunasema power of the words. I love it. I love it when you do this. My God, umekumbuka kukujana, I don't know, the tissue. Oh, thank you so much. It's just tissue, but you know, the way you're responding to, my God, you remembered. Believe you me, next time I'll make sure just how, because you reinforce that feeling good in him or her. So it's, what do you want in that relationship? I won't add anything because we'll go to 3 hours, so I'll leave it at that.
I didn't know this topic would be this big. I didn't think it would be. But thank you, everybody. We love you. We love you. We love you. Thank you for being here. Remember to come next Wednesday again. We'll be talking about something different. Do bring your friends. Let your friends enjoy this session with us. It's so fun when you are like here with us, and you know it makes it better than when I'm talking to myself. I'm like, oh, so it's really nice. Alice, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you. Yeah, shout out to Malkia, Akina Malkia, Monica, thank you. And then I think that was, what is his name? Benson. I think he's my friend from Canada that was that. Thank you, Steven. Thank you, everybody. Kama sijakutaja. Pole Akina Bilha. Thank you, everybody, and bye, and God bless you. Kwairini. God bless you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you so much, Alice. God bless you.
Nanzaje Sarah Ule kwa bin Nicole